Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 9 and today we are going to present our project report Students Living in Poverty, How the Helping Hands Should Approach it. So after group discussion, we have decided to choose SDG 1, which is Sustainable Development Goal 1, No Poverty. What is poverty? Poverty is state of which a person or community lacks the financial resources for a minimum standards of living. In other words, poor. Because we are still students, so the issue that caught up our group attention is poverty related to the students. So the aim of our project is to identify the problems among the student and initiative that it is crucial for the responsible parties to aiding the students. So let's get on the presentation.
Hi, my name is Ahmad Aizat Afisham bin Azam. So today I will present to you about problem statement and inquiry question. Malaysia is expected to be fully developed country by 2020. To achieve this ambition, Malaysia need to do a lot of things to realize it. Okay, so now we move to the first part of my presentation, which is problem statement. Poverty is about a current state of person or community being inferior in quality or lack of financial resources and essentials for a minimum standard of living. The government might need to improve the approaches in reducing poverty. Malaysia is not the only country struggling with absolute poverty, but it also struggles with relative poverty. People in poverty are struggling to meet their primary needs in life, but they also need to provide basic needs for their family. Students that living in poverty tends to do some part-timers rather than to focus on their studies. The growth of the students will be disrupted as they do not get enough education and may not improve their life as well. Then, government has conducted various poverty eradication programs, but there are still people that do not get access to it. With all these things, how the government or the helping hands should help in order to reduce poverty among this group. That is about our problem statement. Then, we move to the second part of my presentation, which is inquiry questions. Every group have their own research questions. Same goes to us. We have 4 research questions to complete this research. Firstly, how can poverty among students be prevented? Then, what is needed to be done and improved by the government or responsible party in order to reduce poverty? The third is, did poverty among students will affect their future? And the last one is, how does the help from these responsible parties will affect their life? That's all from me. Okay, now I will pass the presentation to my friends. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hello guys. My name is Muhammad Rasaizat from Mechanical Engineering Department, and in this part I will tell you about our hypothesis in the project, which is a predictable outcome of this research. So the first one is, if the responsible parties provide all the basic necessities needed, then the burden that is carried by the students can be reduced. This tells us how important our basic necessities in order to live on our regular daily basis. So for the second one, the more people reaching out helping the students, the less students will drop out from their studies. Hence, not a single student will be left behind in education. So for the last one, if effective initiatives are provided by an organization such as the government or NGO, then the student life and performance in their studies will be improved.
Bear with me again with significance of study. The first one is bringing awareness to the society and community to concerns about the students' problem and challenges living in poverty. The second one is ways on how the help overcome the poverty among students identified. And the lastly, support and concern towards the students living in poverty escalated.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Zulfati and I'll be presenting our literature review. So we did our literature review based on 4 research questions, which is how can poverty among students be prevented, what is needed to be done by the government in order to reduce poverty, did poverty among students will affect their future, and how does the helps from these responsible parties will affect their life. The poverty among students can be prevented by providing basic necessities such as school supplies, snacks, and clothes for students who cannot afford them. This will help their parents to spend their expenditure on other things. The government also come up with BPN, which is Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, to add up to the students' pocket money so that they can buy their things for study. And the last one is opening a lot more scholarship, which will help them in pursuing their career. So, in line to reduce poverty, the government has come up with various type of plan, such as FELDA and the New Economic Model (NEM). The government also come up with Kedai Rakyat Satu Malaysia, which is a shop that was appreciated by the citizens as they can buy all those basic needs because it is so cheap. And the last one, the government has also come up with eKasih, which is to improve poverty management in Malaysia. This platform is a low-income family database developed at the national level to assist in preparing on, implementing, and monitoring poverty. The poverty among students really did affect their future, as they live in a bad environment. Children living in poverty are more likely to have a negative experience at their primary school. Students with poor background most likely will fail in their study, which is clearly going to affect their future, especially in getting a job. They are also more likely to be involved in the criminal justice system, which can affect their future job prospect and ability to finish school. With the existing of financial problem, along with a huge gap of confidence, mental health is seriously having a big impact on the student's life. The free textbook scheme, which introduced by the government, has made a huge impact in the student's life. Books are costly and parents have a big burden lifted from their hands when the government offers free textbook. The money saved could now be spent on other necessities. They don't have to worry anymore on the budget for their book and can focus more on striving in study. This greatly motivates children to attend school and it is allows them to focus and perform well in the classroom. The UITM initiative also helps the students a lot in their study. UITM offer food subsidies to any student living in their hostel. This is benefiting students from poverty background and help to boost their confidence in pursuing their dream to get away from the poverty trap. The NGOs in Malaysia also play a big major role in helping students with their poverty. With this kind of support, these students have made a huge difference in finding their spot in the society and also encourage other people to strive no matter how hard it is in order to secure a prosperous life.
Moving on to the data analysis part. This is a data analyzation from 50 respondents regarding their detail and their opinion towards students' poverty issue. There are 3 demographic questions asking in their gender, age, and status. There are 34 male and 16 female respondents, 36 respondents aged between 18 to 24 years old. 8 respondents is in the 25 to 30 age range and 6 respondents aged 31 and above. For question 4 and 5, we ask whether the respondents have ever experienced any difficulties during their studies and have they ever received any financial aid from any parties. Majority experience difficulties during studies and have received financial aid. For the next question, we ask the respondent to state what kind of support you receive. Most of them receive scholarship. For question number 8, who do they think are the helping hands or parties that are responsible in helping students living in poverty? They stated that government, Ministry of Education, non-governmental body, and university association are the ones responsible to help students. Following up the question before, we asked the respondent whether the government responsible parties do a good job in helping students living in poverty and why. They agree that government and responsible parties still do not do a good job to solve the problem because there's still a lot of people in need and the aid they receive does not help them to solve the issue and unfairness in giving the aid. Next question. Students that are poor do not capable in a lot of things. We asked the respondent whether they agree with that statement before and why. Majority voted yes because they believe short of money will put students at a disadvantages. For example, financial problem lead to them cannot support to university's fees and extra learning material. For question 14, we asked the respondent what will affect them the most when it comes to pursue their education if they have poverty issue. Majority agree that mental health will be affected the most, followed up by studying and examination result. For the last question, we ask their opinion on what ways should we help students that living in poverty, and money support is chosen by majority. There are also other answers such as free education, policy that benefit the poor, and moral support program. That's all for the data analysis part. Thank you.
So, for our conclusion is, what we can conclude for our study is, based on the data that we collected on the survey filled by 50 participants, 80% of them, which consists of 40 participants in total, agreed that had experiencing some difficulties during their studies. This shows that we still have a serious issue with poverty among the students in Malaysia. Even though some of the participants do receive some financial aid during their studies, but most of them said that the help given were apparently not enough to help them during their study. And there are some of them who also apply a loan like PTPTN to help their financial. This will become a problem when the person being unemployed after graduate and don't have enough money to pay all the loan during their studies, and this surely will add up the weight on their financial problems. Hence, the responsible party need to take some action on this issue, especially the higher ups, to tackle this issue and take some action so that no one will be left behind in having a proper education, and hence we can eradicate poverty among the students. So, we need to spread awareness about poverty to all people so that no one will be affected on their life, especially when life becomes tougher, especially during this pandemic COVID-19. So we can together reduce the poverty rate in Malaysia, and countless effort needs to be done to ensure that zero poverty can be achieved. So that's all from us. Thank you.